Hi YouTube, this is Marissa. This is my first TTC vlog. This is my third attempt at my first TTC vlog. So hopefully this one is better than the last and will actually upload for me. So I'm not really that great at doing stuff on YouTube besides watching videos. So I've been watching a lot of vlogs on YouTube of people TTCing, so I thought that I would just try to make my own vlog. My husband and I have been trying to conceive for about 12 or 13 months. I was diagnosed with PCOS in around 2007 or 2008. I was pretty young then. I was a sophomore in college, so I wasn't really concerned at the time about having PCOS. And the doctor never really said there was anything I should do or anything I should really worry about at that time. She said that when I would go to try to get pregnant, that it might be a little bit harder, but she really didn't, say much about it. And I was with my husband at that time. We've been together for about 9 years, and we've been married for about 4 years. Sorry, my dog. So I'm 24 and he's 26. And pretty much the whole time we've been together, we've said that we really didn't want to have any kids. We didn't think that that was something we wanted. We were more concerned about finishing school and getting jobs and all of that kind of stuff, which we're done with school, but the whole job thing is always an issue. So, anyway, then about a year ago, we decided that we did want to have a kid, at least one, probably only one. So we started trying to conceive. I went off of birth control. I went to my doctor, and I have PCOS, but she said we needed to try for a while naturally, before, she would put me on medication or anything like that. So I did about 8 cycles, just naturally trying. I did some OPKs during those 8 months. Sometimes I would do them, sometimes I wouldn't do them. I really hate the cheap OPKs. I could never read them. I would think that they looked positive, but then I wasn't ever for sure if they were positive. They looked as dark. The second line would look as dark as the first line, and then sometimes it would look darker, and then sometimes I think it was my imagination, and they were just awful to read. So, I don't know. I think I maybe ovulated sometimes on my own, but I'm not really sure. And my cycles started to get really long. After I was off the birth control for a couple months, my cycles were going into 40 days and getting pretty long. So finally, my doctor, my regular, OBGYN that I've been going to forever, she put me on Clomid. So I did 3 cycles of 50 milligrams. And I started taking the Clear Blue OPKs because they're so much more easy to read, even though they're expensive. I feel like it's worth spending the extra money to have the smiley face or the circle because that's way easier for me to read. So I always got a positive Clear Blue OPK when I was on Clomid 50 milligrams, always on cycle day 17, and I was having 28-day cycles. But still nothing after 3 cycles of 50 milligrams. So last month, she put me on 100 milligrams of Clomid. Same thing, positive OPK on cycle day 17. And I had some side effects on the Clomid, nothing really awful, some mood swings and night sweats. Not really, maybe a little bit of hot flashes, nothing really too awful. But then on the 100 milligrams, I started to, right after I had started taking the 100 milligrams, my eyes started twitching. And it would twitch for, several minutes, and then it would stop for a while, like an hour, a couple hours, and then it would do it again, and it would do this off and on all day. So for about a week and a half. So finally I called the doctor, and I was like, is this a side effect of Clomid, or am I just going crazy, or what's happening? The first nurse I talked to said, oh yeah, that's a side effect of Clomid. You can have vision changes, and, it can lead to worse side effects. I don't know what that means. But that's what she told me. Then the next day, my regular nurse that I usually talk to called me back. And she said that she talked to the doctor, and the doctor said eye twitching is not a side effect of Clomid, and I just need to see my eye doctor about that. But then after a couple more days, it stopped, and it didn't do it anymore. So I'm not worried about it now because it stopped happening, and it hasn't happened again at all. It only happened right after I started taking the Clomid, and for about a week and a half, maybe 2 weeks after. So then after I called in and told them that, I had the eye twitching or whatever, which if anyone else has had this on Clomid and, could say that they'd had the same thing happen, then maybe I wouldn't think I was crazy, because now I don't know. I don't know if that was from Clomid or if it was just, some random thing that started happening that I never had happen before ever. Like, I've had my eye twitch, for a second and then stop and not do it again forever. But this was kind of like a constant off and on thing for days at a time. So I find it odd. But anyway, after my doctor said that wasn't a side effect of Clomid, she then said that she does not feel comfortable giving me 100 milligrams of Clomid anymore at all, and referred me to the RE. So that's about where we are right now. I have an appointment with the RE next month, April, so actually in like a week. And so I have the appointment with the RE, and I really didn't want to go to the RE yet, just because I don't want to spend all the money on the RE. My insurance is not going to cover anything. I doubt they'll cover anything. They cover some things with my regular doctor, and it's really just depends on how they bill it, whether they cover anything or not. I've had an HSG. Insurance didn't cover that, but my tubes were clear. That was at the beginning of the year. I've had cycle day 3 blood work. I've had other blood work like later in my cycle. My doctor's never given me my exact numbers on like my estradiol or progesterone. Is that right? My LH. They've tested like everything, you guys know. But she's never given me my exact numbers, but she's always said that they were all normal. So, and the RE will be getting all of that information. So I guess he'll go over it and, kind of maybe go into more detail with me about everything. My husband's been checked out. Everything with him is fine. So I think that's about it. This month I was on a break. I wasn't taking any medication because my doctor didn't feel comfortable prescribing me anything after the eye twitching. So, also I was a little bit concerned about my luteal phase, because I have 28-day cycles on the Clomid, and I ovulate, or I have a positive ovulation test on cycle day 17. So that's an 11-day luteal phase. And what I've read online, which I know I shouldn't just, read everything online, but I do, says that, what I read online said that, 11 days can be a little short. So my doctor said that I didn't need to be worried about it and that it was normal, but I don't know if any of you girls have any input on that. That would be helpful. Otherwise, I'm trying to make this really short so that it'll upload easier, because I tried to upload a video earlier and it was just a pain. So I think that's about it. That's just a really, really brief summary just about me. So if anyone has any comments or suggestions or questions for me, I would love to hear them. So I will upload this and hope to hear from some of you girls soon. Thanks.